Let's start by telling you that the federal government has condoled with families of the victims of the Anambra, Abuja and Ibadan stampedes. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who conveyed the condolences, however, cautioned those politicizing the unfortunate incidents, saying Tinubu's reset of the economy has nothing to do with the stampede's death. Idris said, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the victims, their families and all those affected by these unfortunate incidents." End of quote. The minister said the tragedies were deeply saddening and underscored the importance of ensuring proper crowd management during such charitable activities, especially during the festive season. Acknowledging the noble intentions of organizers seeking to bring relief to vulnerable members of society, the minister admonished all individuals and organizations planning similar events to comply with directive of the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetoku, on liaising with the police informations or formations for effective crowd control and security measures. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the 3 recent food stampedes in Nigeria as an ugly testament to the alarming level of misery, poverty, hunger, starvation, sense of hopelessness and desperation for survival currently plaguing the nation under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led All Progressives Congress APC government. In a statement on Sunday, PDP spokesman Debo Ologunlagba said the tragic stampedes at private food distribution events in Oyo and Anambra states, as well as Abuja, which claimed the lives of over 60 citizens, could have been averted. The PDP commiserated with the families of the victims of the 3 food queue stampedes and called for urgent medical attention for the survivors. A funfare event intended to bring joy to thousands of children in Ibadan, Oyo State, ended in tragedy on the 18th of December as 35 children lost their lives in a stampede. The incident occurred at an Islamic high school in the heart of Ibadan, where the event was indeed held. Our correspondent, Igbalani Omoni, has more in this report.
According to eyewitness, the venue, an Islamic high school in Ibadan, Oyo State, was overwhelmed with residents from far and near, all attempting to gain entry for their children. Many had arrived a day before the event, with some even sleeping at the venue in anticipation. The event, which was meant to be a private funfare for approximately 5,000 children aged 1 to 13, was reportedly free, with rumors of promised gifts or items. However, these rumors remained unconfirmed. Sadly, the stampede resulted in the loss of 35 young lives, with 6 children currently undergoing treatment.
So time yẹn Oríyọmí wá kọjá Àgídìgbò bó ṣe wá kọjá so àwọn èèyàn ṣáà pariwo máa yẹn wá padà lọ kò pẹ́ là ń gbọ́ lórí station tó ń pariwo pé àwọn ò ṣe pátí mọ́ pé àwọn èèyàn táwọn need ó ti tó bọ́ kán tó wọ́n ṣe ń dé àwọn èèyàn ṣáà fi mọ́tò wọ́n fi ń kó wọn wá. Èrò mọ́tò wo ló fi ń kó àwọn èèyàn? Wọ́n fi fẹ́ǹsà gbé wọn wá, wọ́n lo Highlander oríṣiríṣi mọ́tò travel mọ́tò tó ń lọ sí Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́. So kò pẹ́ lẹ́yìn ìgbà yẹn láṣàrí tí wọ́n lọ sí gate pé Oríyọmí ti dé. Èmi ò mọ̀ bóyá inú gate náà gbà wọlé or anywhere. Wọ́n ṣe sí gate àwọn àgbàlagbà ìròyìn ti pọ̀ jù wọ́n ṣàn tẹ àwọn ọmọ mọ́lẹ̀. Ọmọ mi ò tí pọ̀ ọmọ 20 years ó kọ́ ọmọ 4-5 dání kí ló fẹ́ fi bọ́ kò sí kírú ẹ̀ má ṣẹlẹ̀ kó dẹ̀ ní kọ̀ọ̀kan ọmọ yẹn kú 99% wọn tọ́mọ wọn kú kì í ṣe pé wọ́n kí ẹ̀ tó yẹn kì í ṣe bí àwọn tó wá sún ṣe nǹkan kan wọn kí ẹ̀ tó yẹn o ẹnìkan ní láti máa sọ fún èmi wípé àti bíi 5 lòun ti gbọ́ news wípé káwọn má wá pé ṣùgbọ́n òun náà débẹ̀ ẹni tí ọkàn ẹ̀ bá balẹ̀ kò ní dìde kó máa bọ̀ ńbẹ̀ kò ní wá kò possible federal government ní kó wá nǹkan ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ kì í ṣe àwọn tó ṣe nǹkan kan kò níhùn wípé wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan kan but iṣẹ́ yẹn ti pọ̀ jù ọ̀fẹ́ dẹ̀ tún ni but tí federal government bá wá nǹkan tí oúnjẹ bá wálẹ̀ gidi ráìsì gangan láyé ń jẹ jù.
The organizers of the event, including ex-Queen Naomi Shilekwala and publicist Oriyomi Hamzat of Agidigbo FM, have been arrested alongside the school's principal, Mr. Fasasi Abdullahi. Despite reports that approval for the event came from the Ministry of Education, the school has been locked down with no one present at the site. This tragic incident is the latest in the series of stampedes across the country, resulting in the loss of 67 lives within 4 days. Many attributed these incidents to the escalating cost of living in Nigeria.
And when they had maybe a free food anyway, everybody will go. So it's poverty and the high cost of living.
nǹkan tó yẹn bá fẹ́ ṣe tó yẹn bá wò pé bóyá èèyàn thousands ni mo fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan báyìí fún bóyá kéèyàn reduce ẹ̀ ọ̀ kéèyàn dẹ̀ lọ ọ̀ àkọ́kọ́ tó pàtàkì jù nísìnyí pé ibi tọ́rọ̀ ilé ìdè dúró báyìí ó dáa kéèyàn lọ gbà approval tó gbà approval á ní full security máa wà fún àwọn nǹkan yìí láti ṣe.
ìyẹn ò mẹ́rin wàhálà tó pọ̀ ń lù àìríjẹ àìrímu òṣì tó pọ̀ ló máa ń èèyàn pọ̀ lọ ọbẹ̀ láti sọ pé kí wọ́n rí nǹkan kan fi sẹ́nu.
As the nation mourns the loss of these young lives, there is a growing call for the federal government to address the issues of hunger and its underlying causes to prevent such tragedies from occurring in the future. In Ibadan, Oyo State, for News Central, I am Igbalani Omani.
In the face of rising death tolls from stampedes, states across the Federation are coming up with fresh regulatory framework for charitable events. In Lagos State, for instance, it's now mandatory for charity organizers to engage with the State Safety Commission before embarking on charity events. The Director General of the Lagos State Safety Commission, Larry Mojola, who gave the automation, said the state government is doing everything to prevent accidents of any form in public places. The Ondo State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Olukayode Ajulo-San, also introduced new crowd control guidelines for law enforcement, events organizers, and local authorities on Sunday. Similarly, governments of Anambra, Abia, Awka, Akwa Ibom, Kogi, Rivers, and Delta states have also come up with measures for crowd control during palliative distribution events. Well, still staying with the stampede, in the meantime, a former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, has cautioned against unguarded restriction on the distribution of palliatives. Obi, who wrote in a post on his X handle on Monday morning, believes the IGP's directive will discourage Nigerians and organizations from carrying out their charity work. The Inspector General of Police had demanded organizers of similar charity works to carry security agencies along and ensure strict adherence to crowd and safety management protocols. Obi agrees that the directive is a timely response, but argues that it is open to abuse, adding that acts of goodwill should not be hindered by excessive bureaucracy. Well, to further discuss this, I am joined by Catch Onanuju, political and public affairs analyst. Welcome and thanks for joining me here on News Now. Let's go straight into this. The Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, stated that President Tinubu's reset of the economy has completely nothing to do with the stampede that we've seen in these three states. Now, given Nigeria's current economic challenges and the widespread hunger affecting many Nigerians, do you think this statement is reflective of the reality on ground? Anyway, we'll try as much as possible to ensure that we can establish connection with our guest, who is here to analyze and look deeply into the current situation, especially with the stampedes. But let's move on now to our next story as well. And let's tell you very quickly that the Yuletide season is also in focus. The federal government has declared Wednesday, December 25, Thursday, December 26, and of course, Wednesday, January 1, 2025, as public holidays to mark Christmas, Boxing Day, and New Year celebrations. This announcement was made by the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, through a statement signed by the ministry's permanent secretary, Magdalene Ajani, on Monday. Tunji-Ojo extended greetings to Nigerians, encouraging citizens to embrace the season's values of love, peace, and unity. He stated that Christmas season is being recognized as a time for both spiritual reflection and national renewal. As people celebrate the birth of Jesus, he quoted, "The Prince of Peace, there is a call for kindness and goodwill to be extended to one another regardless of differences." End of quote. He highlighted the need for Nigerians to strengthen family and community bonds, fostering harmony that contributes to national development. Let's move on now and also tell you that Nigerians are expressing discontent with the country's economic downturn, particularly the decline in purchasing power as inflation rates reach an all-time high. With just 2 days to the Christmas celebration, there has been a mixed reaction from traders regarding this year's celebration. News Central's Amazing Adesoya has more in this report.
Nigerians have continued to decry the poor state of the nation as purchasing power and overall economic downturn continues to linger. Recently, the Naira's ability to rise above the dollar remains a tall order. During the festive season, marketplaces boom and suddenly becomes a beehive of activities, Parents, guardians, businesses engage in last-minute shopping to the joyful glee of salesmen and women. However, there are concerns that this year's retail season may be met with very little spending power, as the recent NBS report shows Nigerians' inflation rate reaching an all-time high of 34.6% in November 2024.
Let me not say things are worst, but let me not use that word because it's not good. People are not coming out. It's not unlike last year. At least by this time last year, we've seen the sign that, yes, we want to celebrate Christmas, but this year, we've not seen anything. Market prices are high. The price changes is every day, not even week, it's every day.
Nǹkan hard, ebi ń pa wá, kíjọba ṣàánú wa, opó ni wá bá ṣe wà yìí. Kò sí ọkọ ti kú, láti 30 years ago, ọkọ ti kú. Àwọn ọmọdé wa lé tán lọ léèwé tán ríṣẹ́, kíjọba ṣàánú wa o.
Although Nigerians have been told to tighten their belts by the current ruling party, assuring citizens that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
I don't have any plan for Christmas, but I just have to be on a low key. I don't know what is ahead in January. We don't know what you are going to face in January, so you have to maintain yourself. Don't rush yourself. The way Nigeria is now, do your Christmas and New Year in a low key.
What do economists say about the consistent rise in Nigerians' inflation rates?
For me, maybe this conversation would not be more about numbers, but more about facts. Because if you look at the cost of food in the market, it tells you a lot. I heard a lot of conversations about improvement in our GDP, and we all know that GDP is not a true test of quality of life. It has gone so bad that people have to split a tuber of yam to buy them in pieces, and that is how pathetic the economy has become at the tail end of the year in December, when we are supposed to see some bumper purchases and people are preparing for the Yuletide season.
The recent economic impact has seen a reduction in annual events, usually held at designated spots by A-list musicians, comedians, movie makers, with a huge crowd in attendance. What can instill confidence in Nigerians, and what should policymakers do now to revive the system?
The best way forward is for the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to take a step back. But more importantly, going forward, is there must be an alignment for 2025. There must be better alignment between fiscal policy, fiscal discipline, and the monetary policy.
As year 2024 gradually bows out, Nigerians, as well as stakeholders, they are hoping to regain their economic purchasing power to combat the economic hardship and maintain a good standard of living in year 2025. In Lagos for News Central, I am Amazing Adesanya.
Well, Nigerian military nabs kidnappers in Southeast. That's another story we're taking a look at, but that will be after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Earlier on, we had talked about the issue concerning the stampede that has led to the death of over 60 persons. We also talked about the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, warning against incessant steps that could also lead to further critical conditions. Well, right now I'm being joined by political and public affairs analyst Kacho Nanuju, who joins me very quickly. Thank you so much for being here this beautiful afternoon.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Just earlier on, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, stated that President Tinubu's reset of the economy has nothing to do with the recent stampede that we've seen happening in various states. Well, he has also said that it should not be politicized. What's your take on that? Do you think this recent situation of stampede that we are witnessing is as a result of the current reality on ground?
Well, the reality on ground is that the agency strong logistically, and I think the next episode should be that of, management, administration of this kind of thing, because due to the economic situation, you're going to see a lot of people delve into philanthropy, but the state has to have the capacity to manage this. Don't let them start calling poor people around if they do not have the logistics to take care of this issue. It's a problem of events management right now. And instead of force, let us just learn. Instead of putting blame, learn from these earlier problems. People will do more. There'll be more pressure on organizations to do palliatives in the light of the economic realities. So let there be very strong strength in administration over these people that will do these things. Don't cut corners. If you cut corners and they do not have enough manpower to control the crowds, you will see a repeat of what we've seen so far. So what the problem is now, right now, is a problem of our administration. The government has to be able to have its agencies permit, administer, and be sure that people don't just sign papers to say approve. No, be sure that the organization doing these palliative things in face of the economic realities do have the logistical capabilities to manage the events. If they do not have it, don't just approve when you're not sure about the capacity of the event managers for crowd control. This is what we have. And I'm saying these are just the beginnings. Let us learn from these early problems that it will be that way inevitably going forward. Let the issue be, like Peter Obi said, that of administration. Let the administrators be very fair, but fair in managing permits for events. I believe this is where we're going to. More people, I repeat, will get into the philanthropy palliative business, but before you approve, make sure they have the ability to manage the crowd. Because if they cannot manage crowd, given our current economic realities, you will have a repeat of what we have seen. So what we must do is to work to prevent a repeat of this. Is it going to come again? Of course it will come, if the government slips on their responsibilities. But if, as Peter Obi said, the people manage the situations properly, don't just give approval unless the people have the logistical capabilities to control and manage a crowd, so that we don't come back here in blaming people who simply want to be good to the people of Nigeria in light of our current economic realities.
All right, Mr. Catch, do you think that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led administration has indeed dealt with what seems to be the major context, which happens to be an economic challenge? We've seen reforms being put in place.
What you have is a jolt to the economy and also the social conditions as a consequence of what you call right now, the government is calling economic reset. So, and the reset has brought about increases arbitrarily in food prices. And because of disconnects and the absence of palliatives, those who have the capacity to emplace palliatives are moving forward. So the problem right now is, as they move forward, as you could see, the issues in the Southwest, in the Southeast, and elsewhere is that of crowd control. Don't call 1 million people into a stadium if you do not have the policing capabilities to also control the crowd. That's what we must do. Let government agencies not sign papers to people and approve events without being sure that such organizers have capabilities for expected or estimated crowd capacity.
I want to say thank you so much, Mr. Kachinonoju, for speaking with us here on News Now. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's move on now and also bring to you another very interesting story. Well, with the festive season in full swing, transportation parks across the country are experiencing a surge in activity. In Abuja's Jabi Motor Park, located within the federal capital, travelers say the rise in transportation fares is biting hard on their budget. News Central's Joshua Marayi takes a closer look at the impact on commuters and transport operators alike.
Jabi Motor Park in Abuja's Municipal Area Council is bustling with activity as travelers depart the capital for various destinations. Typically less crowded, the park is now filled with Nigerians eager to take the journey back home in order to spend the Yuletide with their families and loved ones. Among them is Timmy Edwards, who, like many others, is contending with the increase in bus fares.
Like I said earlier this week, it was, I was going to Lokoja, it was 7,500, and today is 9,200. And tomorrow is still going to go, it's going to go more than this later.
These fares increases, though common during festive periods, are adding to the challenges faced by travelers like Joy Akko. She knows that the rise in petrol prices compared to other years has directly impacted the cost of interstate transportation.
Because of the increase in the fuel price, everything has hiked up. So the prices are way too high, but what can one do? Before, normally it used to be like 9,000, but I think presently now they say it's 13,000.
Speaking to one of the drivers at the motor park, he gives reasons why he thinks there is an increase in the price of interstate transportation fares.
During Christmas season, we are getting plenty more passenger, and some passenger will carry plenty goods, as what you see by yourself. Now, because of the fuel price, that is why the transport money was increased.
As the festive season approaches, the combination of rising petrol prices and increased passenger demand continues to impact transportation costs, leaving travelers to navigate these challenges as they journey to reunite with their loved ones. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
Away from that, it is a night of sweet and sonorous voices at the Abia State Christmas Carol of 9 lessons. Well, the program organized by the state government attracted choirs from churches in the state. Our correspondent Chinwe Ogele tells us more in this report.
It is the Abia State Christmas Carol of 9 lessons taking place here today at the International Conference Center in Abia. A lot of people have gathered from various denominations to sing and praise God for the birth of Jesus Christ.
Here is the carol put together by the Abia State government for citizens to relax and make merry whilst listening to the carols as they are being rendered by various choirs. Governor Alex Oti and wife Priscilla, the clergy, political appointees and others witnessed the joyful event. Hey, holy shepherds, say, what your joyful news today.
There has been argument about whether Christ was born on the 25th December or not. Forget the argument, he was born. So if you agree that he was born, then we have taken out 25th of December to celebrate him.
What does today mean to a lot of people?
The significance to me today is to allow this boy child Jesus to reign in the hearts of all, both the leaders and the led.
The 9 lessons we take is the lessons in which we read in order to understand the significance of the birth of Jesus Christ.
But it's good for us to celebrate Christ because he's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
How well do people know these songs they listen to and are sung every Christmas season?
I don't even know anyone, so I cannot sing anyone.
You cannot, no, you have to sing one.
Oh, no.
Long time ago in Bethlehem, so the Holy Bible say, Mary's boy child Jesus Christ was born on Christmas Day. And heaven and nation sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.
Silent night, holy night, all is right, all is night. Silent night. But change the lyrics to suit me.
A lot of people believe that it is a time to unwind, while others say it is a time to celebrate the coming of Jesus Christ. In Umuahia, for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugele.
A former minority leader and member representing Unanichi State constituency in Abia State House of Assembly, Ikedi Ezekwesiri, says the state can get a better alternative to the present government. Ezekwesiri, in a chat with journalists in Umuahia, recently believes the incumbent governor Alex Oti cannot be the best the state can have. He wants the people to have an open mind in 2027 to ensure they identify some qualities in anyone they vote for to enable them go for the best in the elections.
Going forward, this movement is engaged in sensitizing Abians regarding, from the point of reality now, what we need to do and the direction for 2027 gubernatorial elections. You know, Abians are yearning for a government that will have a nexus with them, and not the one that is the government that is separated from Abians. Abians will want a government where they have a direct access to government and governance.
Well, away from that, let's tell you that troops of Joint Task Force Southeast Operation Udoka said they have neutralized 13 armed men they described as members of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra and nabbed 3 kidnappers in the southeast. The spokesman of the task force, Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Unwakalu, made this known in a statement on Monday in Enugu. He said the feat was in furtherance of the troops' clearance operations to make the southeast safe and peaceful throughout the Yuletide. According to Unwakalu, the force commander, Major General Hassan Dada, had called on all well-meaning citizens to continue to support the Joint Task Force and stated that citizens of the Southeast can do this by providing timely, reliable and credible information. Let's move on now to our next story and tell you that communication scholars and media practitioners gathered in Delta State, South Nigeria, to participate in a workshop focused on developing innovative government strategies for public communication and effective media engagement. News Central correspondent Austin Azu tells us more.
Social media influencers, media aides told the Delta State governor draw from different media organizations across Nigeria and selected MDAs in the states converged on this hall for a 3-day communication workshop organized by the state government through the Office of the Director General, State Bureau of Orientation and Communications, in conjunction with the Office of the Secretary to the state government. The Director General, State Orientation and Communications Bureau, Latimer Ganesue, convener of the event, said the exercise was designed to sharpen participant skills.
DEFCON started 2019 in the previous administration of His Excellency immediate past governor, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Atokowa, who gave us all the necessary support for the first, second, third, and fourth edition. And we are so lucky that His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Sheriff Francis Oborevori, also saw the need for us to continue this program. So we are very grateful.
A capacity building workshop with the theme Advanced Delta Strategies for Public Communication and Effective Media Engagement was thereafter declared open by the State Governor Sheriff Oborevori, represented by the State Commissioner for Information, Ifeanyi Swaza.
Your engagement and responsibilities as media personnel and partners with the Delta State government will therefore become even more expansive and comprehensive as we continue to deliver the pragmatic and impacting dividends of the more agenda. So I didn't receive.
In their separate goodwill messages, other guests urged participants to abide with the ethical standards of the journalism practice while carrying out their reportorial activities.
And I do hope that as we make progress, we'll become better communicators, so that at the end of the day, we're able to carry out whatever information, whether from the point of government or from the point of the public, that we're able to give that information that will advance the cause of democratic governance as well as a better society.
The workshop trainers took the participants through various models such as foundation of effective public communication, effective media engagement and management, digital communication and strategic storytelling, among others.
A great way. For some, we are honing their skills because they already have some basic skills. For others, we are strengthening and building their capacity to do their work better.
Of the media men or the journalists, all the things they've been taught in this workshop, they should put them into practice and begin to project the state in a good light, in a positive manner.
So my charge to them is to use communication and media as strategic tools for advancing Delta State.
Some participants shared the knowledge gained and how they intend to implement it into their profession.
The core area was how to engage the people, making friends with the media. That's the alone as an individual, as a private operator, it will help me as an individual to see how I can relate with the other media group colleagues.
We need to invest more in communication, precisely not just in private sector now. What I've learned so far in managing crisis, we need expertise. We need to be empathetic. We need professionalism. And going forward, I'll be able to communicate effectively now whenever a crisis occurs.
Highlight of the event was the presentation of certificates to the participants. Reporting from Asaba for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
Welcome back. Mozambique is bracing for the validation of disputed election results, with opposition leader Venancio Mondlane vowing chaos if the ruling Frelimo party is confirmed as the winner. The Constitutional Council is expected to announce its decision today, which could spark unrest in a country already rocked by violence that has claimed at least 130 lives. Mondlane claims the vote was rigged and has promised a new popular uprising if Frelimo's Daniel Chapo is declared the winner. The opposition leader has been in self-imposed exile since the assassination of his lawyer and has appealed to disenchanted younger voters in a country plagued by poverty despite its abundant resources.
Na minha casa, tinha pessoas à minha porta para me impedirem de sair. Estava seguido durante toda a noite, mas por isso estive um pouco limitado. É muito cedo estar aqui e queria mesmo estar pontualmente às 10 para iniciar a marcha. E fica a saber, Sr. Comandante, as armas que você tem, o blindado que o senhor tem, o gás lacrimogêneo que você tem, nós o povo que temos. Nós é que lhe conferimos poder e mandato para o senhor exercer essa competência de manter a ordem e manter a lei. Se o senhor, a nós que lhe demos o mandato, o senhor quer reprimir, quer intimidar, quer aterrorizar, o senhor vai obrigar a saber quem é que tem maior poder de aterrorizar aquele.
A humanitarian crisis is unfolding in South Sudan's borders. Thousands flee war-torn Sudan daily. Doctors Without Borders warns that up to 5,000 people are crossing the border every day, while the United Nations estimates 7,000 to 10,000 daily. The influx is putting a strain on already limited resources, with many facing critical shortages of food, shelter, clean water, and health care. Medical facilities are overwhelmed, with over 100 wounded patients awaiting surgery. The situation is dire, with many forced to live on the trees or in makeshift shelters. At least 7 people have died after a light aircraft crashed on Sunday in a heavily forested area of Jalisco in western Mexico, according to local authorities' report. The aircraft, a Cessna 207, was flying from La Parota in the neighboring state of Michoacán. Jalisco Civil Protection said via its social media that the crash site was in an area that was difficult to access. According to the service, the first responders on the site reported a preliminary count of 7 people dead who have not yet been identified. China has warned that the Philippines risk triggering an arms race after Manila announced plans to acquire the U.S. Typhoon missile system. The Philippines views the missile system as crucial for protecting its maritime interests, particularly in the disputed South China Sea. China's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning called the move provocative and dangerous, warning that it could escalate regional tensions. Mao added that the acquisition could spark a broader arms race and deepen geopolitical confrontations. The Typhoon missile system, known for its advanced strike capabilities, represents a significant military upgrade for the Philippines amid growing territorial disputes with China. This development has raised concerns across Southeast Asia, the U.S. and China.
关于美国在菲律宾部署中导，中方已经多次阐明了坚决反对的严正立场。我想再次强调，菲方引入中导系统这一战略性、进攻性武器，是配合域外势力制造地区紧张对立、挑动地缘对抗和军备竞赛的挑衅和危险举动。
Look at business. Gold prices climbed slightly, trading near $2,632 an ounce after Friday's 1.1% gain, as traders assessed monetary policy prospects following muted U.S. core personal consumption expenditures data for November. The subdued inflation reading bolstered hopes for interest rate cuts in 2025, a favorable scenario for non-yielding assets like gold. The precious metal has risen over 25% this year, reaching record highs driven by U.S. monetary easing, safe haven demand, and central bank purchases. However, the rally has slowed down since Donald Trump's election, strengthening the dollar and increasing the cost of dollar-priced commodities globally. Oil prices gained on Monday as softer than expected U.S. inflation data sparked optimism for further policy easing. Brent crude climbed 0.5% to $73.31 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate rose 0.6% to $69.86. Analyst Tony Sycamore attributed the gains to reduced inflation fears and the U.S. Senate passing legislation to end a brief government shutdown. However, concerns about a supply surplus and slower demand capped gains. Both benchmarks fell over 2% last week amid global economic worries, caution from the Federal Reserve on monetary easing, and forecasts from Sinopec indicating China's oil consumption could peak as early as 2027. The Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, ATCON, has urged regulators to implement practical measures to address the 250 billion naira debt banks owe telecom operators for unstructured supplementary service data USSD services. ATCON President Tony Mokbere emphasized that resolving the crisis is critical for sustaining financial inclusion efforts, particularly in rural areas where USSD bridges gaps in smartphone access and internet connectivity. USSD services play a pivotal role in mobile banking, airtime top-ups, and bill payments. Mokbere warned that the unresolved debt poses a significant risk to the nation's financial inclusion progress. In sports, Chan Eagles stand-in coach Daniel Ogumodede has expressed satisfaction with the Super Eagles' B goalless draw against Ghana, but stressed that qualifying for the 2024 Chan tournament is a top priority for Nigerian football. The Eagles will host Ghana in Uyo on Saturday for a second leg encounter, aiming to secure a spot in the upcoming competition. Ogumodede, in a post-match remark made available to us courtesy 54 Football, believes that the qualification will significantly boost the Nigerian Professional Football League, benefit local players, and support indigenous coaches.
This is Nigeria we're talking about. Obviously, for obvious reasons, the giant of Africa. And we know how important it is for our local players, for our league, for what our federation and sport commission. Our sport commission is trying to build now. We know how important this is for the young players coming up in the nearest future, both present and the nearest future, how important it is for them. Not just the players in this contest, even we as coaches. I'm also an indigenous coach, don't forget that. And it's important to know that we are trying to...
Tennis star Max Purcell has been provisionally suspended for breaching anti-doping regulations, the International Tennis Integrity Agency, ITIA, announced on Monday. A 26-year-old ranked 12th in doubles voluntarily requested the suspension on December 10 after admitting to using a prohibited method. Purcell is now barred from participating in coaching at or attending any tennis event sanctioned by tennis governing bodies, including the upcoming Australian Open in January. The breach pertains to a prohibited method, not a banned substance. Purcell, a two-time Grand Slam doubles champion, won the 2022 Wimbledon and 2023 US Open doubles titles. NASCAR is wrapping up its initial 3-year agreement for the Chicago street race with no commitment yet for events beyond 2025. NASCAR COO Steve O'Donnell says they've learned a lot from the street race, aiming to build momentum each year. While speculation about a street race in San Diego actually continues, O'Donnell didn't confirm or deny those plans but emphasized interest in Southern California. The series also sees growing interest from global markets, though O'Donnell stopped short of confirming a race in Saudi Arabia despite the Qiddiya Entertainment City targeting a future event. And that's all the news we have for you for this hour. But before we go, let's quickly look at the headlines once again. Federal government condoles with victims of palliative stampede, warns against politicizing incident. Federal government declares holidays for Christmas and also New Year. And in Mozambique, Mozambicans await court ruling today on disputed election results amid fears of unrest. Follow us on all socials and ensure that you can watch News Central on DSTV channel 422, Star Times 274, Avo TV, and you could also stream live on Facebook and also on YouTube. I'm Joe Hansen. Good afternoon.